Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy and welcome back to The Last Lap, where we provide you guys with everything NASCAR related, whether it's news, highlights, reviews, predictions, everything you need to know about NASCAR. We have it for you here, and you can also find us on Instagram and Twitter at The Last Lap News, where we also provide updates and stuff on there in between races. So we're going to go ahead and hop right into this video. Sorry it's been a while, there was an off week and then some stuff came up earlier this week, but we're back and better than ever, bringing you guys some fresh content. So as always, we got my friend and co-host Matthew on the show, and he was fortunate enough to be able to be at the Martinsville race this past weekend. So go ahead and tell me a tiny bit about that experience without giving too much away.
Well, it was definitely a fun weekend for sure. Saturday, I was expecting that race to be moved either way, but I was able to get the first 40 laps in, and then we had to move it to Sunday, so I had to drive all the way back here and then drive back here the next day, and we were able to get the full race in yesterday. So it was all a fun weekend, and glad I was able to watch it in person.
Do you have the souvenir that you were able to get? Do you have that you can show to the viewers?
Yeah, right here. Oh yeah, I got this big old helmet right here. It's these things are not that cheap, but fortunately I had a gift card or something I could use for it. But this is definitely my first actual full-size helmet. I have a couple mini ones here, but that's what I got in Martinsville.
Definitely a cool piece to add to the collection. I probably need to get a Chase Elliott one of those eventually, but I don't know. We'll see.
They had the championship one there.
I'm sure they did. They got all kinds of Chase Elliott gear, but I'm not going all out and getting like towels and whatever else. I'm fine with my hat and my die cast. That's all I need, and a lanyard and a few other small things. But that's all I need for the Chase Elliott championship gear. But anyways, I'm glad you were able to go and have some fun, and hopefully down the road we can get to go to a few more races. COVID's finally dying down and all of that. But we're going to go ahead and hop right into the recaps. The Xfinity and the Cup Series raced this weekend at Martinsville. The Xfinity race was started on Friday night, but that got pushed to Sunday. And the Cup race started on Saturday, and that got pushed to Sunday as well. Mother Nature I don't know what Mother Nature has against NASCAR this year, but all of the big races seem to get affected by rain this year, so hopefully that can change in the future, but that meant double duty on Sunday for the Xfinity and the Cup Series. So the Xfinity race resumed, but actually on Friday night there was already a problem. AJ Allmendinger had a tire issue and he had to come to pit, but it turned out it wasn't necessarily a tire issue. It was some type of mechanical problem that they needed to keep fixing throughout the race. And I think he ended up on the lead lap at the end of the race somehow. So he was like 2 laps down at some point and all of that. So good job for him to keep persevering and I think finish on the lead lap for that race. But stage 1 went to Noah Gragson. And then stage 2 went to Daniel Hemrick. And with 86 to go, Riley Herbst blew a tire and spun. That man just can't catch a break, honestly, unfortunately. The expectations for that team are super high after Chase Briscoe winning like 8 or 9 races last year, and Herbst just hasn't had any luck this year, so expectations were super high, and so far Herbst is not living up to them. But, to be fair, that luck kind of turned around for Briscoe at Darlington last year, so maybe the luck will turn around for him there too. But with 40 to go, there was a restart. With 40 to go, there was a restart. And Ty Gibbs was in the lead, but with about 20 to 30 to go, Josh Berry ended up taking the lead from Ty Gibbs, and Josh Berry ends up winning the Xfinity race. That's a great story. He's 30 years old and ran late models for Dale Jr. for quite a while and did iRacing for him and stuff and all of that. So to see him finally get a start at a track where he's really good at and get a win, I thought was really cool for him to see. And Dale Jr. actually said that he was nervous and was crying when Josh Berry took the checkered flag, and he said he'd never done that for any of his wins or his dad's wins or anything, so I thought that was pretty cool to see Junior get a little emotional about it as well. But Matthew, do you have any brief thoughts about the Xfinity race?
Well, congratulations to Josh Berry. He's part-time. It's nice to see a part-time driver winning. That's not a cup driver doing part-time, but it's nice to see him in victory lane. I know he's been part of the junior motorsports program for a while now, so I actually hope he gets a full-time ride. No disrespect whatsoever, but I feel like he needs to get Michael Annette's ride. Let's just be honest here. I feel like he'll do much better in that car than Annette is right now. But yeah, it's so nice to see Josh Berry getting his first win. I saw there was also a fight after the race between two backmarker drivers, which was interesting. They were both on the ground, it seems like, fighting. But yeah, it was definitely great to see a first-time winner. And once again, Ty Gibbs showed a strong one in his third career start, finishing fourth, I think, which they're just still impressive. Only in 3 starts, he's finished the top 5 all 3 times. So that's another noteworthy side note there. But yeah, congratulations to Josh Berry. Hopefully, he has more success this season.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs continues to impress. He won the road course in his first start, and then he finished second at Phoenix and got another top 5 here at Martinsville. So it's looking promising for his future and probably the Xfinity Series next year. I would assume he would get a full-time ride pretty soon in that series. So, yeah, and as far as for both of our picks, well, neither of our picks won, unfortunately, but Josh Berry is still a good driver to win, so we're both really happy for him. So none of us got a point there, but we're going to go ahead and move on to the Cup Series now, which was Sunday afternoon after the Xfinity race. They got about 40 laps in before the rain came, and they ended up washing it out and pushing it to Sunday. Stage 1 went to Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney looked really good throughout the race, and so did Denny Hamlin. He looked really good as well. And with 20 to go in Stage 2, there was a caution, and Joey Logano was about to go a lap down. Ryan Blaney was about to lap him, but somehow the caution came out, and Logano got lucky, and I don't really know what happened to Logano. He was really good at night, and then when the daytime came, the car just wasn't there for him. So that obviously proves that adjusting to night and day setups is very important. Let's see, 10 to go in Stage 2. The Ryan Newman and Matt DiBenedetto got together right out of caution, and Ryan Blaney went on to win the second stage as well. It's crazy how many drivers are sweeping the first 2 stages this year. It's pretty crazy. Anyways.
And most of the time they don't win the third stage.
And most of the time they don't win the third stage. I don't think we've had a full sweep of the stages yet this year so far. I wonder how many times that's happened actually when a driver swept all the stages. Probably not that many times. But moving on. Let's see. Lap 321, Kyle Busch got spun. I'm not really sure what happened there. Do you know how he spun, like the first time he spun out? He cut a tire or something?
From when I was there, he was dropping like a rock for some reason. I mean, it didn't look like he had a tire. It just looked like his car was just down terrible. And next thing you know, he just lost in between turn 1 and 2. But yeah, before that, he was falling like a rock.
I think he did have some type of tire issue. I don't know if it might not have been a flat, but it might have been a loose wheel or something. I know they reported something like that on Twitter and during the broadcast. But yeah, Kyle Busch spun, and then with 160 to go, Brad and Suarez got together, and then with 133 to go, Alex Bowman pitted for a vibration, and he was running well. He was my sleeper pick because he finished, I think, 6th in both of the races last year, and he was looking like he had another good top 5, top 10 car, but he had to pit for a vibration, and then he would eventually get caught up in the big wreck with 115 to go on the backstretch. So basically how this happened is Kyle Busch drove kind of deep into turn 1 under Chris Buescher and touched him a little, and I guess Chris Buescher wasn't too happy with that somehow, but coming off of turn 2, Buescher kind of came down and hit Kyle, and Kyle spun to the left, and that just caused like a giant pile up, aka a parking lot in Jeff Gordon and Clint Boyer, Mike Joy's terms in the booth. I thought that was funny, but that caused a giant pile up. Kyle Busch was involved, Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, several other big names were involved in that wreck. Daniel Suarez too. Daniel Suarez he parked his car on the front stretch for some reason. Not really sure why. It caught on fire and he got out, and then he threw a water bottle at William Byron. So, yeah, I guess Suarez wasn't too happy with Byron. But anyway, so that was probably the big event of the race right there. That big caution. Matthew, do you want to give any thoughts about it, or do you just want to not have no comment?
Well, I mean, I feel like Kyle had he had the bottom lane. I mean, sure, it's kind of a dive bomb, but the lane was open, so he took advantage of it. I guess Chris Buescher, I mean, I don't know if he was mad or not, but they just two got together, and that stacked up the whole field. But that was funny when Suarez threw the water ball at Byron. Everybody, I was in the stands, everybody was laughing at that. Everybody got a kick out of that. And then Suarez was not happy with the fire crew, too. He was just sitting on top of the wall. He was just like, really? You're just going to let my car burn to the ground here? So, I have no idea why it took him so long to get there. But, I mean, we've seen that happen before, like Alex Bowman a few years ago. I mean, his car was on fire. It took him a while to get that fire out, but yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, the drivers aren't allowed to get out of the car unless it's on fire. So Suarez obviously did the right thing and got out of the car because it was on fire, and yeah, I'm not really sure why it took the emergency crew that long to get there, but anyways, moving on with the race, it was pretty good green flag stretch there after that wreck. Up until then, there were, in between 200 and 100 to go, there were a bunch of cautions, just drivers spinning and wrecking and that big pile up. And finally after that, there was a pretty decent green flag run until about 50 to go. Chase Briscoe, I think he cut a tire and spun out, and that brought out a caution. And up until that point, it was Ryan Blaney and Denny Hamlin pretty much dominating the race. And that caution came out, allowed everybody to come in and pit, get some tires. There was a bunch of strategy changes, too, throughout the race. Like, a bunch of people, sometimes people would pit, some would stay out, especially when that stretch of all those cautions came out. Some people would pit, some would stay out, so that would have some better drivers up at the front and better drivers in the back trying to work their way through the field and all of that. So I thought that was really interesting throughout the race. But after that caution, there was a restart, and Denny Hamlin was able to jump out to the lead, and Ryan Blaney had a speeding penalty. I don't know if it was on that caution, or I think it was that caution. He had a speeding penalty, so he had to go to the back of the field. Was it a speeding penalty? It was some type of penalty.
It was dragging the equipment out of the box.
Oh, yeah, the hose. Yeah. Ryan Blaney drug the tire hose, the tire gun, out of the pit box, and that caused him to have a penalty and go to the back of the field. And speaking of that, there was a penalty for somebody pitted out of the box. It might have been Eric Jones or something.
I think Austin Dillon.
Austin Dillon. And then Christopher Bell had his right rear tire out of the pit box, and he didn't get a penalty for that. They explained, Bob Hawkers showed a thing on Twitter that explained the rules, but it doesn't make any sense. If Austin Dillon's nose was over the line and Christopher Bell's right rear tire was out of the box, shouldn't that be the same penalty? But I don't know. I don't really get that rule. But I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that rule really quick?
Not really. It's just inconsistency again. Go figure.
Yeah, I don't really get that rule. But anyways, moving on to that restart, Denny Hamlin hopped out to the lead, and Martin Truex caught him quick and was hounding him, and he just could not pass Denny. Denny would run the high line through the corner and get a good exit off the corner and be able to pull away. Truex would be able to dive into the corner, but Hamlin would just have the good drive off the corner. They battled it out for, I would say, at least 10, 15 laps, trying to exchange the lead back and forth. And Chase Elliott was back there in third, and he was just kind of waiting back there. And Truex finally made the pass, and was able to drive away. And then Chase Elliott had the same issue trying to pass Denny Hamlin. And I was watching the race and I was like, Chase, just hit him in the back bumper, get him up out of the groove. But I don't know. Anyways, so Martin Truex was able to pull away and he was able to win. For the second time this season, the first time a driver won twice this year, because first 7 races, 7 different winners, and now we finally got our first repeat winner of the year. So, and this is his 3rd win at Martinsville in 4 races. So, very impressive for Martin Truex Jr. at Martinsville. And a few stories I have very quick just to recap the race. So, there were 3 Hendrick cars that finished in the top 5: Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, and William Byron. So, Hendrick Motorsports continues to show that speed throughout the race, no matter where they are. Seems like they have some pretty good speed, whether it's 1.5 or short tracks or super speedways, road courses, wherever. They're continuing to show that speed, and all 4 Gibbs cars finished in the top 10 as well, including Kyle Busch, who had a crazy up and down race. He finished 10th, so all 4 Gibbs cars finished in the top 10. Christopher Bell had a good run as well. And my final, story is Kevin Harvick. He was able to get a top 10. He finished 9th, which is great for that team because they were off to a slow start the season, and Martinsville usually isn't a track Kevin Harvick is good at. You could go back to the race in the fall. He just could not do anything in that race in the fall and ended up missing the championship 4 because of it. So it was good to see him have a good rebound as well. And Penske kind of choked a little bit there at the end. Ryan Blaney with the penalty there, and then Joey and Brad kind of fell back as the race moved on. So those are just a few of my stories. But Matthew, what do you guys say about the race and any kind of stories you have for afterwards?
Well, it was so amazing to be back at the track again. It was so nice to hear the engines again in person, seeing the racing again in person. Overall, it's just an amazing race. Martinsville never disappoints for me. One kid, Ryan Blaney, I feel bad for that kid. I mean, that's like the 3rd straight Martinsville race that he's been up front, and he's always, something goes wrong on pit road for him. So I feel bad for Blaney. Denny Hamlin, he was a dominant car all day, but couldn't capitalize in the end. Martin Truex was clutch at that point. I'm still surprised how Kyle Busch was able to finish the top 10 with all. He took a tore-up race car, was able to bring that thing to a top 10, which that's impressive to me. Especially the damage he had. He had like damage on the side of the car. He had damage on both front fenders of the car. But the good thing is Martinsville, and aerodynamics don't really mean that much at a short track, so that came in handy. Or otherwise, if it was like 1.5 miles, he would have been doomed. But other than that, it was just another amazing Martinsville race with a lot of passing, a lot of action, and a lot of drama as well.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with a Martinsville race. I eventually do want to go there because that track is absolutely crazy. I wish they would have run it at night, but obviously it was supposed to run at night, but unfortunately Mother Nature said otherwise. So hopefully we get like a full night race in at Martinsville eventually. I don't know if the one in the fall is going to be all at night or not, but hopefully in the future we can get a full Martinsville race at night. So we're going to go ahead and we'll do the rating for the race. We'll go ahead and rate the Martinsville race. This is tough. I really liked this race. I thought it was very competitive, lots of action, lots of wrecks, but I don't think it was quite as good as Bristol Dirt. I think we gave Bristol Dirt like a 9 or 8.5 or something like that. So I'm going to give this race an 8 out of 10. I thought, it was a 9? Okay. So I'm going to give this race an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a very good race. Martinsville always lives up to the expectations, and this race did not disappoint. Lots of passing, lots of great racing, especially between Truex, Hamlin, and Elliott down the stretch as they fought for the lead in second place. And yeah, I'm going to give this race an 8 out of 10. So what are you going to rate it?
I'm actually giving it a 9 out of 10, just because it only makes a difference when you're there, because you see a way more than you do on TV. And when I saw a lot passing like almost every lap. there was always some bumping going on every lap, always some chaos going on. So I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Martinsville never disappoints.
Okay, well, that might have been the first time we quote-unquote disagreed on a rating all year, but still a very good race. We both thought it was very good, so make sure you let us know in the comments what you think about this race. And now we're going to hop into our, I guess you call it NASCAR Fantasy. You chose Truex, right, as your threat pick, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, Matthew gets 2 points, unfortunately, so that'll make the score 3-1, I'm pretty sure. So you'll have 3, I have 1. None of us got our Xfinity picks right, and then Martin Truex was his threat pick. So Matthew gets 2 points, and he's out to a lead. But in basketball terms, the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead, so yeah, just never forget about that. But anyways, so yeah, Matthew's got the lead 3-1 for our NASCAR Fantasy. But other than that, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for this video. We'll come out with a video this week about all kinds of news that came out. There was some testing that went on a few weeks ago that we need to talk about, and a few other things. So make sure you look out for our video this upcoming week. The Cup Series will be going to Richmond this week, where I usually go every year, but unfortunately, because of COVID, I can't go in the spring. But hopefully in the fall, I could be able to go back to Richmond. It's always nice to see a NASCAR race in person. So make sure you stick out for our video coming out on Friday regarding that, and we will see you guys then.